rest of the draw step, as one of the cards has to be put back, as per Sylvan Library's ruling. It does technically still draw the cards, though. So if you have something like Words of Wind or Words of War, most notably Words of Wilding was a deck a while ago that used Sylvan Library and Words of Wilding to put 3 bears into play every turn. So he's going to play the Fauna Shaman, the Singleton Fauna Shaman that he has, still with the Dryad Arbor in hand, that cannot get discarded by any of Rudy's spells, so he can activate that Fauna Shaman next turn, should he so choose. Fauna Shaman, a rare from M11, the creature Survival of the Fittest. Pay a green mana and tap and discard a creature card, search your library for a creature card, reveal it, and put it in your hand, and then shuffle your library.
Fauna Shaman is a really excellent card, a card that I often include in modern building on a budget decks.
Oh, nice. Who writes those?
Some weird dude.
Some guy, I guess. I don't know. So Fauna Shaman often is seen run alongside a main deck Elishnorn and Loyal Retainers plan.
Ooh, we have something big happening. Oh, never mind.
Never mind, not that big. Just a Jite on a Germ that also has a Batterskull. That's going to get through, putting Josh down to 10 and Rudy up to 23.
And I imagine Rudy's probably going to kill the Fauna Shaman now before it becomes active.
I would imagine so.
Oh, no.
Thalia.
Interesting.
He has a Swords to Plowshares in hand and also has
Engineered Explosives.
An Engineered Explosive. So he may... okay. He's just going to scoop him up here. So Josh and Rudy are going to go on to Game 3. Meanwhile, in one of our other semi-final matches, Brad Campbell on Goblins has defeated Michael Antrim playing Maverick.
That second game went really fast for them.
It sure did.
We found out the first game result less
moments
than
ago, yeah.
5 minutes ago.
That was... Goblins can do that sometimes. Sometimes Goblins just vomits guys on the board and takes it down. So Goblins, you said, typically favored against any non-combo deck. Do you think Elves qualifies?
I don't know. It depends whether or not... Does the Goblins player have Sharpshooter?
I don't know.
We could find out.
I think that the Elves having a combo element, though, certainly gives them an advantage. Goblins has fewer ways to interact. However, we will move on to that later on. So we're going to go on to Game 3 now with Josh on the play. Do you think that that changes any of the sideboarding decisions?
I'm not sure. I think that... sorry. Looking at this...
It doesn't look like it.
I don't think so. I mean, Josh may correctly identify that Rudy has taken out cards like Force of Will, and as a result, he may decide that this is a good time to bring in his Progenitus package.
Okay. I could see that. That'd be very, very interesting.
And you never know. I mean, Rudy clearly had a massive advantage that game, but Josh was on the mulligan, and Josh had a very land-heavy hand in a deck that does not have access to Brainstorm, so...
More news for you. Dustin Taylor, the #1 overall seed on Rug, has defeated Enchantress, played by Travis Reed.
So the semifinals shaping up here. This game, the last game remaining of the quarterfinals now. We have Rudy Briksza against Rudy Bazinga against Josh Glantzman. So the winner of this match going to be facing off against Dustin Taylor in the semifinals. Going to be on the draw.
Yeah. And so no matter the result of this game, we're going to have 4 archetypes in the top 4.
That's a healthy format to me.
Yeah, it seems like it's a quite healthy format to me. So, Josh, on the play, do you think that now that we're moving to Game 3, do you think that he has the advantage? Do you think that he'll be favored to move on?
I think Josh Glantzman is the favorite right now. I mean, he's on the play. He's playing Maverick. I mean, it's supposed to do well against Esper Stoneblade.
That's true.
Rudy did a really good job of playing around the sideboard cards of Josh that game. As a result, I think Josh may even take the chokes out of his deck. post board, Rudy has a good number of things to bring in here. I mean, the parish is so strong, and I think it could really go either way. But yeah, the more I'm looking at this, I'm going to change my opinion right now. I think Rudy's the favorite to win this. Rudy's sideboard's just too strong here.
Yeah, he has 2 Parish, 1 Massacre, both of which extremely strong against Josh's deck.
Yeah, and the Elspeth also quite good. The Terminus very good. The Engineered Explosives also very good. So Rudy's just got tons of high impact cards now in post-boarding games.
Yeah, many 2-for-1s or potential 2-for-1s coming in for Rudy. So I think that might take out Josh, who is depending a lot on Knight of the Reliquary being the horse to carry him to the finish line, and with things like Parish coming in and Terminus, I'm not so sure that's going to be a game plan that's going to succeed. So I would agree that Rudy, despite being on the draw, I would expect Rudy with his and with Mavericks slightly being favored in game 1, I would still expect Rudy to win this game should he see, I would say, 1 well-timed sideboard card or 2 sideboard cards in the mid to early game.
Yeah, on that the turn where Rudy essentially killed all of Josh's permanents last game, he even had the option of doing so with Engineered Explosives instead of how he chose to do it.
So turn 1 Mother of Runes for Josh Glantzman is met by, this is not a particularly good hand, but met by Inquisition of Kozilek, which sees 2 Swords to Plowshares, one of which will get taken away, and the Life from the Loam.
Yeah, Life from the Loam, a very powerful spell. I really like it in this matchup.
Yeah, he'll be able to
generate a lot of card advantage.
While also keeping Rudy off of his mana, which he needs a lot of in order to feed Lingering Souls and Stoneforge Mystic.
Eventually, this Life from the Loam will find a wasteland, and once it does, Josh is going to really hurt Rudy in this match.
Yeah. Mother of Rune's also very important here. If Rudy was unable to take care of it while it was still summoning sick, because it will be able to protect future Knight of the Reliquaries and other assorted important creatures in this matchup, like Kozali Pridemage for taking out Umezawa's Jites, or Batter Skulls that aren't protected with 3 colorless mana. So Josh that turn cast Life from the Loam, bringing back a fetch land. Rudy cast a 2-drop of his own in Stoneforge Mystic, getting the Jite. So once again, Rudy probably has the Batter Skull in his hand.
This time might be a little different because there is a Mother of Runes on the table, I guess. Yeah, so a
Swords to Plowshares on the Mother of Runes for Josh.
Yeah, another reason why you might grab the Jite there is because when he Inquisitioned his opponent, he saw the extra Swords to Plowshares, so he's already pretty sure that his Stoneforge is going to get sniped as soon as he plays it. So it might just be safer to grab the creature that he's able to, or the equipment that he's able to cast.
Right. And so Snapcaster Mage will flashback Inquisition of Kozilek, taking all of the spells from Josh's hand. Josh now only with 3 lands in hand. This happens a lot, though, if you have Life from the Loam.
Yes, and it's really not that bad for Josh, though. Josh does have the Mother of Runes, and is currently under no pressure at all. Even once Rudy equips that Jite, he's still not going to be able to attack. So
Josh does still have some time to dig for the Wasteland if he wants to go on that plan, although Rudy has 2 basics in play, so that might not be the most successful strategy.
And Rudy also has the ability to fetch up another basic. He is playing 2 islands, a plains, and a swamp, so he has 4 basics in his deck.
Wow. So he's able to cast his Jace the Mind Sculptors from underneath a back to basics.
Very true.
Umezawa's Jite for Rudy Briksza resolves and pass the turn.
Looks like Josh still has no action, or he may have just drawn a green Sun Zenith.
Looks like Rudy has the one of Mana Leak in his hand, in addition to 2 lands and Force of Will.
Yeah, and Josh has the decision to make here. He's going to have to decide how much he wants the Green Sun for. If he wants the Green Sun Zenith, chooses to Green Sun Zenith for 2. And Rudy's going to Mana Leak this.
Mana Leak, not just for standard anymore.
A Tundra for Rudy. Perhaps better as just a basic island to protect himself from Wasteland. Already has double white available to him. Triple white, not really a necessity for him.
Although he does have Elspeth in his deck.
Well, that's true, so he may want the line of Elspeth.
The extra
swords.
protection.
Yep.
There's a textless Disenchant from Rudy.
And those were given away based on the amount of Magic you played.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were the Players Club giveaways.
Oh, yeah. So based on that fact alone, we know Rudy plays a lot of Magic, but we knew that already. Rudy has worked as a sales associate or as a buyer of some kind for Star City Games at events in the past. So learned in all aspects of Magic is Rudy Briksza.
Josh is
a lot of lands for
just
Josh.
Drawing lands at this point.
He has Caracas and
still no Wasteland
another
also.
land in his hand.
And this next turn, things are going to get really ugly for Josh if he's unable to draw an instant speed spot removal spell.
No.
And what is that? Is that a...
Looks like another... is it a land? Can't really tell.
No,
it's
I
flipping a little
believe
fast.
it's a Scavenging Ooze.
Now Josh does have a Caracas in his hand. Oh. So Vendilion Click will show the Caracas. It is a Scavenging Ooze. Vendilion Click will show the Caracas, so it's not quite as bad as previously thought of equipping the Jite to the flying creature.
Yeah, now the Scavenging Ooze does not have the ability to grow, so Rudy's going to let Josh keep this, and then he's going to equip the Jite on his turn. He can just attack with it and kill that Scavenging Ooze immediately. So not a good spot for Josh to ban. No creatures in the graveyard right now.
Just a lonely grizzly bear. Although a grizzly bear, albeit that can take out Snapcaster Mage targets. More of a Withered Wretch, I suppose. Here's a Stoneforge Mystic for Rudy.
Yep, and Rudy going to be searching up his Batterskull here.
There it is.
Stoneforge Mystic, one of the most powerful 2-drops ever printed. Stoneforge Mystic is going to serve Rudy very well if he makes it into the semifinals.
That's right.
It's play against Rug Delver, Batterskull being one of the best cards you can possibly have against them.
Yes. There's Batterskull, the 5-mana mythic equipment from New Phyrexia. It has Living Weapon, which means that it enters the battlefield equipped with a 0/0 black germ creature. It gives the equipped creature +4/+4 and Vigilance and Lifelink. And if you pay 3 mana, you may return Batterskull to its owner's hand to avoid hate or simply to reset the germ.
Beep beep. That's what I always say when I attack with the Batterskull.
Beep beep.
Yes.
Nice. So it looks like still not a lot of gasoline for Josh Glantzman. He's just got a Swords to Plowshares.
Yeah.
He does have the Caracas to be able to hold off the Vendilion Click, although that's not a great answer, as the Vendilion Click will be able to fix Josh's draws for the rest of the game if he chooses to do that. Rudy draws Thoughtseize for the turn. Hand of Batterskull, Disenchant, Thoughtseize, and Force of Will now. Swords to Plowshares on Vendilion Click will put... Or will it? Rudy, it's thinking about hard casting this Force of Will. Looks like that's what's going to happen here.
Yep, so hard cast Force of Will. Going to make sure that this Vendilion Click stays alive and can keep poking at Josh. Josh not really able to handle that. He can continue bouncing it with Caracas, but as you said before, then Rudy can start using that Vendilion Click to loot repeatedly and improve his card quality tremendously.
This attack is going to put Josh down to 11, I believe.
Yes, Josh is going to have to come up with some sort of plan, or just not be so flooded.
Yeah, he's going to remove all of Rudy's spells from his graveyard with the Snapcaster Mage. There at least is a land that he can use to redraw Horizon Canopy. It is a Noble Hierarch, so while it is a spell, not the best spell ever.
And not really what he's looking for here.
Josh's deck is not being particularly kind to him. Yeah, Rudy didn't even need any of his sideboard cards this game. Or he has the Disenchant in his hand.
Yeah, Strand in his hand now, but he's doing just fine.
He's doing just fine without him. That's right.
What Rudy would really like to see is a Lingering Souls. I don't know if it's still in his deck. I imagine at least a couple copies would be. For precisely this situation, I mean, sometimes the ground gets locked by Mother of Runes, and your opponent can always have a Caracas to prevent you from hitting with a Jitte.
I would expect that the Lingering Souls would stay in this matchup, but I don't know. He tried to equip the Jitte to the Vendilion Click, but as we mentioned earlier, Caracas was able to bounce the Vendilion Click back to Rudy's hand.
Caracas, an interesting card from Legends.
There it is.
You can tap it for 1 white, just like a Plains, or you can tap it to return a legend to its owner's hand.
That, of course, has been errated to be only legendary creatures. So end of turn, Stoneforge Mystic has put the Batterskull into play. Vindicate
will target Caracas.
Targeting Caracas. That's a pretty good answer to the Caracas.
Yes, a very nice answer for Rudy. It's nice to have a card or two like Vindicate in your deck, a card that can answer anything.
Yep.
Rudy presumably going to
7 here, or did he block and then give something protection from the black?
Oh, another Caracas.
So the second Caracas from Josh Glantzman.
Yep, and apparently it was stranded in his hand because he played it right away, and he definitely drew the Thalia this turn, so putting that Disenchant to the bottom of his library.
With his own Vendilion Click. Very nice. Yep. That's another reason why he probably didn't want to have to bounce the Vendilion Click endlessly, as it would give, there's the Lingering Souls from Rudy.
Yeah,
as it would give.
Pretty huge.
Yeah, that's very huge. That's 4 additional power of flying.
Yeah, and I mean, it can't get bounced by Caracas, and it can pick up Jitte. So, Josh is going to need a. I mean, it's pretty rough for him here. I'm trying to think of what
he's going to need. I mean,
even if he draws exactly what he needs.
Yeah, even if he gets Natural Order for Progenitus, even if that came in, then it's going to be still going to be a little rough for Josh.
And next turn, one of these Lingering Souls tokens can pick up a Batterskull and an Umezawa's Jitte. Rudy can assemble the dragon.
I'm not sure I've heard
that
nickname.
Flying car.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's is that a Spell Pierce, possibly?
Yes, and here we go.
So there goes the Germ.
Yeah, the Germ will die, and this is a Spirit driving a car.
Yeah, just Spirit, tiny little 1/1 Spirit, taking a big Batterskull.
Yeah, and I'm surprised Rudy didn't equip that Jitte there.
Yeah, perhaps leaving up mana for whatever is in his hand. I wasn't really able to catch what he had. At least he has
Spell Pierce.
I think he has Spell Pierce Swords to Plowshares. actually.
Oh,
now,
I guess
now
STP
and
makes-
Vandalian Click.
Makes more sense.
So
And he's
this
still got a 2-turn
attack will
clock, it doesn't
take
really matter.
Josh to 2. Is that correct?
And
And that's the end.
But
Up
yeah,
to
that's
3.
it.
That's the end of the game. Rudy Briksza will move on to the semifinals, where he will face Dustin Taylor playing Rug Delver.
Yeah, I mean, this should be a pretty good match.
Yeah.